Inflewence here. Today I got the Modfans. I think it's Modfans. It's Cerebros, which should fit on Generations. Couple things is some good and some bad here. Bad is the paint they use. It's flaking off. It's terrible, actually. I don't know if it's the plastic or the paint that feels weird, but it's like I don't know. It's not a great. I don't think it's a great paint. I felt this before, but I can't put my finger on what figure felt like this. And that's pretty much it. The paint lends the negatives because it's scraping off, it's coming off, and it isn't adhered well. It doesn't feel good. Like the plastic or the paint, like I said, feels weird. Articulation is great. How it looks great. It's also too small for me for Generations. But that's up to you to decide. So let's get into this.
Transformers reviews, tech and the news, whatever else I use as a muse. Hit subscribe, I appreciate the views. Influences interest on YouTube.
Here we are with this. You've heard my complaints and initial thoughts, but one thing I can say is they know how to do a robot for bang for your buck, and the articulation and accessories are great. I know they have repaints coming out, and I'm wondering if the repaints are better. They actually look better. I didn't know about them. If I know about them, I would have picked them up instead of this one, because I actually like the one that's more painted like the Generations version. Actually, there's a black and red one too that I really want, and I may get it. I don't know. It wasn't that expensive. Like I said, the price is great for this guy, but the paint is not too great. So let's get into some accessories. He holds his gun. He has hands. He has two different hands. So accessories, that's part of the accessories. On him, he has this hand that actually has a giant hole in it because of the square barrels. So he can hold those. So it has these hands right here that are just like open hands. And I think that's nice that they included some extra hands. He has this sword painted really nice, but the white on the hands is coming off on the black hilt, unless it's the black paint and it's white underneath and it's scraping off. I don't know which is which, but like I said, the paint is really nice on here, and it doesn't feel like the same paint or plastic. This is just blue plastic, I believe, no paint, and it's just, you know, just a single sculpt, but it still looks nice. It's fine for his gun. He has the connection piece, of course, so he can go on Fort Max easily. So he is, I guess, a parts former. He also comes with extra pieces for Fort Max, which I think is great. And some of these extra kits even cost more than this whole thing costs. So I think it's a good buy besides the paint stuff. And you get his gun, of course, Fort Max's gun. And it's nice. Has a fold-up handle. Folded up. Pretty big gun. You see what it looks like. It came in two parts. This comes off if for some reason you want to take it off, but it does have a big T spot there, and you just stick that on. It has a little paint right there for the scope and in the front, and I think that's great. Box, nothing to write home about, just a normal box, and it's KS01. I don't know if I said that because the repaints are probably different. Directions were fine. They're not trash, but they're trash because it doesn't have any real directions for any of the other stuff that's with him. I mean, you can figure it out, but still, it should have them. And now for this guy, you can see him in all his glory. There's a paint scrap right here. I only manipulated this once. The whole time I manipulated it, it was just flaking. Stuff was flaking off. It feels like it's chalky. I guess that's the only way to describe it. And the paint hinders the articulation some and the transformation more. But let's get into comparisons. So you can see, for me, he's just too small for Fort Max. Even as a head, it is small. I know some people might like a smaller head, and they did think that Fort Max's head was too big for Generations. I do think it was a little too big, but this is a little too small for me. I would have liked something in between. I'm not sure why they didn't do it. This is more probably the scale with Fort Max, a little closer. It still doesn't. I mean, it's a city box. City box are gonna be hard to scale with, so I don't know why they didn't just make him a little bit bigger. because their roller was bigger. Like if it was the size of the roller, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be the size of the roller. So I would have been all right with that. But his head is on a ball joint, a very nasty ball joint. So let's take this off. I don't know if you can see it, but it's all scraped off all around the ball joint. This is like ate up here. It's going to peel at any moment. And I think people online was showing it, and it's just like it is in the pictures online. I may take some pictures myself. I shall see. It's not big at all. It's just a small, no paint, which is a missed opportunity. I don't know why they didn't paint this. Head looks chewed up. So here's the Legends one. I always thought we was gonna get a Legends size Fort Max, but this is, I think this was Unique Toys, so of course you know what happened to them, but they're coming back, I think, or DX9 or all those. So you can see his Headmaster, even though he's smaller, his Headmaster is a lot bigger. And I mean, either one are great. So you can see that there. But yeah, just to compare these two, you can see his face. Face isn't bad. It's cool. Try to get it in focus. Get back the articulation. So his head goes down about that much, goes up about that much. Like I said, it's on a ball joint. It can go side to side. Shoulders, this shoulder piece gets up like that, but missed opportunity. They could have cut this out a little bit better, I guess, or maybe put a little hinge. But I mean, what can you expect, I guess? But you can move the shoulder, which is weird that you can move it and this doesn't go up anymore. At least I don't think it does. I don't want to break it. It's already feeling fragile. So we get 90 degrees. He does have a double jointed elbow that gets you full range, and is nothing other than for articulation. It's not really for transformation, which is cool. Has a bicep swivel right here. Hands go back and forth. You can just pull them out like that in order to put the new hand in. I'm gonna leave these hands in just for now. He has a double waist bend, so he has a waist up here. I was trying to get this open. I don't know if this opens or not. Let me see, because it may be stuck just because of the paint. I forget how it opens. I think it opens from the bottom usually. Doesn't look like it. I don't want to scrape it. It doesn't look like, it does look like up here it might be pinned and have a hinge, but I don't know. Let me see if I can get that open. It's like a little space right here on each side. All right, never mind. I'm not going to do it anymore. It's going to scrape up, and not that I care that much, but so like I was saying, there's an upper bend, so you get the ab crunch there and back. Show it from the side, and you have the bottom bend, and you get the T-cup on both bends. You get the ab crunch on both bends, which is cool. You got the waist that goes all the way around. This does scrape against it, and like I said, all this paint feels chalky. So at any given moment, it may scrape off. So the skirts go up like that. He does do the splits. You can see his splits. He does do the hurdles, and you don't really have to move the front skirt out. It does move on a ball joint, but it's hard. Like I said, you don't have to move it, and the back doesn't move, so you get about that much. So he does all of that very well. You got a knee joint, and they engineered this guy very nice, because they thought about stuff. They cut the joint so it goes 90 degrees or more, a little bit more. So that's cool. You got the swivel up here, pretty tight. All the tolerances are pretty good. Like I said, the paint is what's stopping some of the tolerances, but you get a little up with the toe. Get a little, no, not really. I guess you can call it a tad bit down with the toe, and you get a rocker like that, which is cool. So that's pretty much it. So let's get this dude transformed. It's not hard at all. So this part right here is where I scraped off this, so be careful. But you got to bend this forward, but it's like a double hinge. It's like a hinge here that bends, and then this bends. If you try to bend this first, it gets caught right there. So you got to kind of bend this out like that. You see how that creates that little joint right there, I mean that little gap. Then you can move it around. I didn't do that at first, so this scraped on here, and I'm not sure if this is white or if this scraped the gray off. I don't want to mess with it. So then you move that around like that, and same over here, kind of move this out so you can get it around so you don't scrape that paint off. I did it so you won't have to, unfortunately. Again, I think it's gonna scrape off, and this is how the directions tell you. I should have did the waist first, because you do have to spin the waist around. I don't know why they don't tell you that first, but spin that around 180. Then you flip these side skirts up all the way. Now you can bend this even though it's out of order according to them, I guess. So get that right here. Now you have this right here. You don't even have to do that right now. You can do this. So this is up, and I didn't even show. I like that they have a jetpack. They disguise the face as a jetpack, so that's dope. There's a sliding mechanism. Again, the paint, I think, is the reason why this sliding mechanism. Oh, it's working now. So you gotta slide it all the way down until it clicks. The one side always, you see how it's not showing his face, and the one side is always messed up for me. There we go. And you can just move that down. Now you just flip this out here. Need it. It's a tab. It's tabbed in there, so you may need a tool. Flip that out. Same on this side. Over here, flip that out. Then you move this up here. Try to get these arms. These arms will move all around. Try to get them straight. You can do it now. This little tab right here is for the sword, so you can put the sword in. I think it goes like this. I'm not sure if it matters, but it's a little less sticking out the top if you do it like this. And I like that it keeps the arms together, kind of keeps them where they should be. So just do that. Then you can move these legs up, and you're pretty much done. Move these legs up. I kind of tuck these flaps behind the arms, and then there's a tab right here that got all the paint scraped off, of course. But put that in there. It's already scraped off, so what you gonna do? And then just straighten the legs up. And this is crooked still. There we go. Move this out here, and there we go. You see his face, really nice. Then you take this and you put it in here in order to add it to Fort Max. And let me add it to Fort Max and show you what it looks like. So here's Fort Max, and let me see if I can get this in focus a little bit. And you just add this guy onto here. Wait, let me see. Yeah. So it kind of goes in and it clips. If you're going to use this, it'll probably be better to just stick this in here first. It's really tight too. And you can hear it snap, and then you can just snap this on top of there. Make sure this goes up. Like I said, I think it's too small, but that's subjective, as they say. He is up close, a little bit closer anyway. And here they are compared in their head modes, and just to show how much smaller this is than that. Again, I know a lot of people thought this was too big, but that's too small to me. I would have liked a happy medium, but what you gonna do? All right, so that's it for this review. If you enjoyed the review, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will get over to you in another one.
You know, life ain't over, life ain't over, life ain't over. As long as you alive, you can give another try and take it real high if you want.